This email is the letter of query and request sent to the Helsinki District Court and Judge Gisela McPherson on the 11th of July 2025. Please note, all requests, all queries were ignored, and the court clerks, a group of cliché, mean girl cis women, set about even gigglingly abusing me when I tried to get a PDF of the court papers so I could send them to a lawyer. The letter to the court itself follows a short introduction, indictment, and final coda on the last years of my life as a prisoner of corruption and coercive control abuse. This video goes out to Judge Gisela McPherson of the Helsinki District Court. Thank you for making it in no uncertain terms clear that I have no rights to evidence, no rights to witnesses, no rights to a lawyer, no rights to control of my own language rights. No rights to control of my own language rights, nothing. And that you, Judge Gisela McPherson, will partake in continued abuse of a disabled person and treating them as if they're some guilty, subhuman scumbag. Late afternoon on the 11th of July 2025, Otto Stahlhammer, the pet corrupt bailiff in this, who has previously served me with fake summons not filed with the district court, which I then had to attend court with a witness to discover they were not indeed filed with the court, and the court clerk I had spoken to on the phone had once again lied to me. Following a pattern post the 12th of February 2024 of raid of terrorizing me with court filings, cancelling court filings at the last minute, having bailiffs at my door, then lying about, I thought they were retracted, and then fake court filings, threats of more police violence and police raids via false statements, refusal to retract false statements, even those that were evidenced as false by as something as obvious as a finalised 4E Dublin Circuit Court dismissal, provided as a tested copy by the Dublin High Court. All of which comprise just some of the coercive control abuse by Anna Voivoda and her lawyer, Hanna Rivari, and Hannah's client, Anna, Helsinki University Law Department PhD candidate, lawyer, Valu aka Lumos, which they have relentlessly subjected me to since 2023. Keeping in mind, before Anna Voivoda escalated the false reports to the Helsinki police, including the false statements that I had psychosis when I have nil history of psychosis, and, the psychological abuse had reached such dizzying heights as to have her mimicking recordings of my abusive female parent to cause distress at me, or in me, before gaslighting me about these, or then eventually apologizing, or blaming me for the police torture I suffered. Somehow that was my fault. I was coming right at them, or I wore the wrong clothes or something, telling me I did not understand my child's sexual abuse, nor did I understand the violent attempted rape I fought off, and that I was a narcissist who wanted a life not defined by abuse. So you can kind of gather it had reached like absolutely out there heights, and that includes, this is after being basically told that she was going to murder me and had the power of life and death over me. So, it's been a long road into hell. However, Judge Gisela McPherson and the abusive, giggling, mean girl, cis women bigots of the Helsinki District Court clerks, refusing me basic rights under law, the Finnish Constitution, and human rights law, refusing even something so simple as a PDF of the court papers so I could properly and easily reply for legal representation, refusing my disability status even when I have valid B certificates, which are the Finnish, document for being disabled and off work, and refusing that, refusing to recognize even my reference to the Helsinki Center for the Treatment of Victims of Torture. You know, that there's a level of incoherence and dehumanization here that it's impossible to address. And that has Judge Gisela McPherson, I want you to know this in no uncertain terms, that has been the final nail in the coffin for me. You didn't even bother to kind of give it a slow run-up of abuse. You just went straight in, full knuckle. When I am finished this video, I intend to pack up and go to a pre-chosen spot and make my peace. Drink a beer, smoke a cigarette or two, take some muscle relaxants, and then walk into the sea. I understand that it is a pattern of Anna Voivoda's coercive control abuse and the abuse of her position as a master's of psychology, though she was never, ever my psychologist, to try and twist and fabricate narratives of mental health here. But as the last and latest email to the Helsinki police from my psychiatrist, Dr. Veli-Matti Kaupamäki, shows, I have nil history of psychosis. This is not made in disordered or delusional thought. This is not made to make anyone feel bad. It is not made out of incoherent emotional choice. It is a long considered decision where I tried to find every possibility of any option that did not lead to the sea. I understand, that there will be attempts to twist the narrative. I mean, Anna has quite a lot of colleagues from her years in psychology, and they're willing to do small things because they don't understand the situation and they believe her lies, which is why now my medical records in Hartman have been fabricated by Dr. Andres Nette, and him and Huss have refused, and that's why I've had to publish the audio that contradicts the entire of my medical records from the 12th of February, which now include complete fabrications, such as that I tried to burn down an entire apartment block in Dublin and other things. In the face of the corruption and denial of personhood and rights by a corrupt coterie of cis women Helsinki judges, which began with Judge Kirsti Konen and was continued by the abusive little tug, Judge Camilla Ramasem, the incoherent Judge Rika Rask and her complete denial of rights, and now Judge Gisela McPherson. In a situation where I am trapped in a coercive control abuse prison by the narcissistic psychopath Anna Voivoda, who has promised to either murder me or have me locked up via false statements, who terrorized me with threats of prison when I was trying to just get my belongings back, and has made and created this entire artificial situation, and been enabled to by corrupt bigot cops, who she has consistently lied to. This is a long considered decision on self-defense against a situation of no rights and no quality of life, no chance at freedom, no access to justice, and this group of scumbag judges denying and obstructing my access to justice in my Irish police brutality case as a point of leering idiot abuse. And they don't like being talked back to or the truth of their actions being shown to them, because, cis women do not like the consequences of their actions, and that's something that we as a planet will have to talk about at some time, but I won't be there for that. When the chronic stress caused by Anna Voivoda's imbecile lawyer, Hannah Rivari, and refusal to retract false statements, remembering false statements that are so easily proved as false as like the attested judgment from the Dublin High Court clerk's office. It has caused so much chronic stress that it caused the destruction of my last relationship with someone I loved very, very much, who in the end could not stand or withstand the chronic stress and watching me be destroyed slowly and bullied, in their own words, by members of the Helsinki District Court. This is my only access to freedom. I make this fully aware that it is the modus operandi of Finnish judges and members of the Finnish legal community and Anna Voivoda to basically make everything I say a lie or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how deep into this rabbit warren thing that they've got into of everything I say is a lie, because I keep presenting evidence, and then their only response to presented evidence is to go and ignore it. They can't even answer it. It's really pathetic. But you know, I make this choice hoping I am brave enough to keep swimming until exhaustion and death. I don't do this without fear. If you are watching this and feeling low, this is not the decision for you. It is terrifying, and it will be very painful. You are not in my position, regardless of what you think, and more than likely you have people who care. After 7 years of fighting police brutality and corruption, I am left with no one. My last chance at life, taken over by this god-complex fantasist abuser, psychologist, never my psychologist, Anna Voivoda, and enabled by corrupt, entrenchantly bigoted Helsinki police. You, who may be down or low, have to know it is not the decision for you. No, it is a lonely decision, and one made from the depths of a destroyed life, held captive prisoner by an abusive, evil, narcissist liar. Where once Anna Voivoda and her patient, Helsinki University Law Department PhD candidate and lawyer Valu, aka Lumo, and the chat log with them will be in the link comments. And later the lawyer, Hannah Rivari, began to decide I should have no rights, no access to law, steal legal documents, steal medical records, and keep me a sort of torture monkey prisoner, dancing on a hot organ grinder. This became the only decision. I do not make this supporting this decision for anyone else. It is not. If you were listening to this and feeling low, please seek help from your friends. Reach out. They are there. I do not personally see any other options. The Finnish legal system is abusive by choice. It's slow and drags out, and the judges drag things out deliberately. It is a system of favors and bigotry. Even if I got a miracle lawyer like Marco Friedman, it could take 10 years to extricate myself from the mess and hell of selfish, solipsistic, make it all about herself, everything's about Anna, sort of like nightmare that it would completely destroy my access to justice with my Irish police brutality case. And that's what she wants, ultimately. As much destruction and control. So, I'm left with no options. There is no such thing as law in Finland. And when the judges, such as Gisela McPherson, refuse their legal obligations as written in the Finnish law when presented with evidence of misconduct by other judges and false statements to the court and police, and refuse to do what they are legally obliged to do by the Finnish law that enacts their very positions and the positions of all civil servants, then there is no law, and there is definitely no other option but death. Honeybee, if you ever hear this, I'm sorry for this cunt and her cunt assistant, and I'm sorry what they forced you to watch and live through. Know that I love you. Thanks for all the support from everyone who could when they could. Now follows the email from the 11th of July sent to the court and Judge Gisela McPherson,